Operation Dawn 8 was an Iranian military operation conducted during the Iran-Iraq War, part of the First Battle of al-Faw. The Iranian operation is considered to be one of Iran's greatest achievements in the Iran-Iraq War. The Iranians were able to capture the Fao Peninsula, cutting off Iraqi access to the Persian Gulf in the process. This in turn hardened Iraqi attitudes to prosecute the war. The Fao Peninsula was later recaptured by Iraqi forces near the end of the war by the massive and illegal use of chemical weapons. Iranian offensive. On the 9th of February 1986, the Iranians launched the operation, in which 100,000 troops comprising 5 army divisions and 50,000 men from the Pasdaran and the Basij advanced in a two-pronged offensive into southern Iraq. Unlike the earlier offensives, Dawn 8 was planned entirely by professional army officers, all of whom had begun their careers under the Shah. The Iranians launched a feint attack against Basra, which was stopped by the Iraqis. Meanwhile, the main Iranian blow fell on the strategically important al-Faw Peninsula, which fell after only 24 hours of fighting. The Iranians launched their assault on the peninsula at night, the men arriving on rubber boats. After taking the Fao, the Iranians built a pontoon bridge and began to dig in. Iraqi counteroffensive. On the 12th of February 1986, the Iraqis began a counter-offensive to retake the Fao, which failed after a week of intense fighting. Saddam sent one of his best commanders, General Ma Abdel Rashid, and the Republican Guard to begin a new offensive to recapture the Fao on the 24th of February 1986. A new round of intensive fighting took place, centered on a three-pronged counterattack, with the Iraqis losing 10,000 men and the Iranians 30,000 over the next 4 days. The Iraqi offensives were supported by helicopter gunships, hundreds of tanks and a huge bombing offensive by the Iraqi Air Force. Despite having an advantage in firepower and the extensive use of chemical warfare, the Iraqi attempt to retake the Fao again ended in failure. Aftermath. The fall of al-Faw and the failure of the Iraqi counter-offensives were huge blows to the prestige of the Ba'ath regime, and led to fears all over the Gulf that Iran might win the war. In particular, Kuwait felt menaced with Iranian troops only 10 miles away, and increased its support of Iraq accordingly. During the Second Battle of al-Faw in April 1988, Iraq recaptured the peninsula. In popular culture, the Season 1 of the war documentary War.The Iranians depicts Operation Dawn 8. Bibliography. https://org/files/media/css/pubs/9005 lessons Iran Iraqi-Chapo 8.pdf